Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back to the show. We are joined with Janis Reed. Yay! So excited to have her here finally. Please say hello, Miss Janis, and introduce yourself. Thank you so much.
Hola, hola, yasas, hello, ciao, all that other stuff. I'm
Oh,
Janis Reed. Janis A. Reed. Actually, my name kind of tells you who and what I am. I am a Reed. I'm a Heyoka, and I have figured out how to live with that by also being a storyteller.
and for those that
My
may not know,
stories
what is a
are,
Heyoka?
oh
Tell
wait,
us.
I'm getting there.
Oh,
I've thought about this. How can I best explain the impossible? I tell stories that heal people
okay. Mm-hmm.
because I am Heyoka
Mm-hmm.
rather than telling stories because I'd really love to be a stand up spiritualist comedian. Um, I tell stories that heal people of troubles only they are aware of.
Wow.
In other words, if you were going to put me to a psychic would say, well, what do you want to know about? And I would say, well, is your check going to clear? And
Uh-huh.
what name shall I call? The less I know about a person and their problems before I tell them the story, it's a better story.
Ooh.
I do it this way. It's kind of backwards in that you get your answer before I get your question
Okay.
because I'm Heyoka. This is where the Heyoka comes in. The fact that I sit here before you as a blonde haired, blue eyed white girl, in appearance only, and still claim the name Heyoka is kind of almost, it would have been, well, I'm still not sure why it happened. Um, Basically, I was informed that the Thunder Beings had chosen me to be a mouthpiece for Great Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
They picked me out of the whole bushel barrel, and I was the fish they pickled.
Wow.
Lightning came into my house. Lightning came into my house off the prairies out in Oklahoma one evening in a storm.
Oh.
The lightning bolts about 18 inches long, brilliant blue,
Wow.
balls of lightning about as big as my head, zoomed in and out of the house and in and out of me until dawn. All my way cool friends disappeared, big
Ah.
chickens. And but the lightning, it looked like lightning bolts and lightning balls zipping around inside of my house. And then they started going in and out of my body in different places. They go up to the television and just dissipate.
Wow.
The next day, yeah, as long as the storm howled, those lightnings were in my house, in my body,
Ah.
shooting in one ear and out my nose. That was a lot of fun. They'd zip in
Wow.
my belly button and zip out all 10 digits. It was unbelievable. Had there not been witnesses there at the beginning, I would have been pretty sure I was having some kind of bad reaction to something.
Wow.
The people that were there were veterans of Vietnam. They were lawyers in training and teachers. They were respectable people. They were not my usual crowd of uh, fun people. It was a great
Mm-hmm.
storm we were expecting. But when the storm came in and it just started doing this to me,
Ah.
the group cleared out. And the next morning, the veteran came to my door about 8 o'clock and knocked to see if I was still alive. He was having flashbacks of
Oh my
he
goodness.
had to be taken. It was one of those events that only happens in weird B movies,
Wow.
things that
Yeah.
happen to other people, or you read about and you go, man, somebody made up that.
Yeah.
And it happened.
Uh-huh.
When, when it was over, the first thing I noticed was everything was brighter. All the colors were clear. Things looked different. Things glowed. People glowed, rocks glowed, dirty toes glowed. You know, everything glowed. It was just weird.
Yeah.
And it was like I was looking at things with the lights on. Well, finally the lights were on and I could see clear. A
Wow.
friend of mine had me, I was being watched at that time. A group of friends that had witnessed it decided they'd keep an eye on me just to make
What?
sure, something gasket hadn't blown. The young one woman took me out to help her get her paycheck out on the reservation at a bar. Uh, and while she was out back getting her paycheck, little red pickup truck pulled up to this 200-year-old bar.
Huh.
And from out in the parking lot, this little tiny Indian, I swear he looked like something from a cartoons out of the 40s. He hopped out of his little red truck and he was way short. And he locked eyes with me from out in the parking lot where the bright sunshine was
Mhm.
into a building where it was nothing, no lights on in there at all. He locked eyes, walked up to me right through the door, and he said, "Hey, I just came to tell you that you're not crazy. You're Heyoka. And I'm real sorry about that. I don't know how you're going to do it, but you're not crazy." And he's kind of looked up and he looked over my shoulders to the patrons in the bar and he said, "You hear that, everybody?" And they all raised their beer mugs and laughed and smiled and like gave me a cheer. And I'm sitting there wondering what he just called me,
What is that?
because that
Yeah.
mama might have hit him with her shoe. What the heck did he just call a white girl? And all
Yeah.
the red people laughed at.
Yeah.
And he went out to his pickup and he said, "I got something for you." So he went out and he got this little bag, his medicine bag. He came in with this crumpled little paper sack. I said, "What is that?" He said, "That's my medicine bag." I said, "Really? It's not very fancy."
Uh-huh.
He said, he says, "You don't know a lot of reality, do you? People won't steal this one. The fancy one they'll grab." And there he had his precious magical things in his little paper sack. That was his medicine bag.
Wow.
The
Wow.
bag was made of wood, so it was a natural, it was a bag. It just wasn't
Mm-hmm.
leather. And he gave me a little turquoise and said I'd need it to keep cool because things were about to get hot. And he thanked me very much for my time, reminded me that I wasn't crazy. It was that I was Heyoka. And with that, he turned around. We only talked about 4 or 5 minutes. I mean, it was a short conversation. He walked in, talked to me. He turned around, he walked out.
Oh
And
my
as he
gosh.
walked out, he looks up and he says, "Oh, great spirit, you sure can pick 'em. I don't know how she's going to survive this. It's been hard enough for me as a red man." And that was my education of what a Heyoka was.
Oh my.
So, now I've watched this guy drive up to over the hills and over
Yeah.
the prairies and dales. It was like this little brilliant
Mm-hmm.
spotlight had been on him all the time, like somebody was
Wow.
shining it on him.
Yeah.
And he turns around, he walks out, he goes away. And I'm left there staring at my turquoise and my girlfriend saying, "What happened?" And I said, "I'm not sure." And I looked over to the crowd behind her and she looked over her shoulder at them and they smiled and raised their mugs. I said, that man called me a Heyoka." She said, "Oh, well, let's just get out of here then." Said, "Okay." We get out to the car
Yeah.
and say, "Hey,
Yeah.
what's a Heyoka?" She said, "Well, this could take a while. I'm not real sure how to tell you." Well, she was another white girl, but she had lived in Oklahoma and Colorado and with the people long enough that she
Okay.
knew certain traditions
Yeah.
that were different. So she knew that I had not been called a nasty hag.
Mm-hmm.
It took years to figure out what that meant. In effect, when I finally got a straight definition, I laughed so hard I almost rolled off my chair. Heyoka translates to crazy person. I love that.
Okay.
But it's a crazy, yeah, it's a crazy in a good way though. I've been hit by spirit.
Mm-hmm.
The great gods of love and mercy decided that rather than kill me dead with lightning, they would rewire me.
Wow.
And I'm changed. Now I work sort of as a translator mouthpiece for spirit
Wow.
a lot of the time. Most of the time, I'm not aware of it
Mm-hmm.
because apparently, as Heyoka, that's not, it's like a need to know basis. And sometimes I don't need to know. I just
Yeah.
open my mouth and stories come out.
Yeah.
And the people that need to know, they get the answer. So it's kind of a cool way to do a reading for someone. I literally read their story for them and help them figure out, if they ask, how that works in their ongoing issue when they've got some stuff going on.
Yeah.
It's fun for me. It's a way more educational and helpful, I feel, for people,
Mm-hmm.
because I want y'all to make your own choices. I want other people to make
Yeah.
their choices for themselves.
Yeah.
I don't want to take their power from them. I sure don't want their karma.
No.
I can barely deal with mine. My goodness, I don't know how I can handle it.
Yeah.
but the The Heyoka background, it's a word that is, I mean, the more I talk about it, the more people are going to come out of the background of the woodwork and say, me too, I'm also a Heyoka.
Yeah.
Probably not. It's
Mhm.
like shaman and medicine man. It's the
Ah,
latest little red pill of the hour. But in reality, the term, the Lakota term, Heyoka, comes from the Lakota people. Doesn't come from Himalayas,
okay.
doesn't come from Ogden, it
Uh-huh.
doesn't come from Rome. It's from the Lakota traditions. It is not a transferable word. I happen to be chosen, and it's weird that I'm a white girl, but for some reason, Great Spirit deemed me worthy of giving me a chance to serve Spirit, which
Mhm.
has always been my goal.
Yeah.
Majority of people on the planet, rightfully, they want to serve their families, their communities. My way of looking at people is to see them from further away, to see the people and the community and the environment and the piece of land under their feet and where that land is on the planet is associated to the rest of the universe and the astronomy and astrology of everything. I listen to all of the stories. I've had the good fortune to study various religions and translations of theocracies, if I
Hmm.
say all that right.
Yeah.
I did all that before. It was always interesting to me to compare. I loved Sunday school. My mother was a Southern Baptist daughter of
Mhm.
Southern Baptist Sunday school teachers. So her response to everything was a line out of the Bible. If I asked for something, she'd give me some parable. She should not have been surprised. I started responding in parables.
Mhm.
I learned to speak, talking in parables. It tells me as I remember these things now, I realize that I was being set up. I've been being set up now for at least a couple of lifetimes so that this physical body would be able to withstand the blasts that come
Mhm.
through from spirit.
Wow.
I'm savvy enough to just let go and let God. And that way I don't burn myself when the flush comes through the tubes and the tube gets red hot white. I don't get burned because I'm not trying to direct anything. I'm just letting her rip. I trust that spirit will deliver the message to the person that needs it in the way that person can best understand it at that
Mhm.
time. So when I set up time to talk with people, first we get the money out of the way because I'm an old fashioned girl. We don't need it hanging over our heads and getting anybody's way. So $150, send me money. I'm
Yeah.
square.
Absolutely. You just have to be paid
I
for what
want that.
you're worth, and yeah, you got to commit to a
Mhm,
service.
mhm. Some people say I should charge a lot more. I want people to be able to afford me. Because what good is it if I know your secrets? You're the one who needs to know them.
Yeah,
So,
right.
I can work with people. I want to be able to be available. I want you then to write down the person whoever's going to call me or contact me, write down what the issue is. Write it down on a piece of paper, the wall above the telephone, the kitchen tablecloth. Don't put it on your computer because that screws with me. Write it down
Interesting.
and then tuck it away, put it somewhere and forget about it. And
Okay.
then send me three or four good dates. You can email me at goddessjanis@hotmail.com. Send me three or four dates that you can be available to talk with me as close to noon East Coast time as you can be comfortable talking with me. Set aside an hour or two. You'll need
Wow.
time to talk with me, and then you'll need time to digest it. Without fail, people say I give a whole lot more than they expected.
So you are able
The
to
re-
tap into, how could I describe this? Into somebody's inner being, their inner soul, is it
right.
currently? Is it their past lives? Is it future lives? Tell me some of the things that people discover from these sessions with you.
Well,
This is
it's been
great.
kind of fun. Well, yeah. It seems that if spirit needs me, I can do whatever it is. I don't want to do brain surgery, but I might be able to tap out that little hole if I had to.
Yeah.
I've been surprised at what I've done. Some of the stories have given up dates, names, explicit directions, and some give, they sound like something out of a sci-fi movie to me.
Mm-hmm.
But because I am Heyoka, because I speak for spirit, my body of knowledge that I pull information from is no longer my own.
True.
I don't need to know, say, your question. That's not my business. I'm not in the business of asking and using my ego to decide if your question is worthy of me answering. I'm hoping you don't ask me, will I find a boyfriend? Because I hate those questions. Ask me something with pith on it. Get to the juicy part. Find the dates that you can work with. I will find those that dates on my calendar. I'll talk with spirit. Spirit will actually choose the date we talk on. And then I'll contact you back, confirm that with you, and make sure I've got a good phone number because I'm going to call you. At your end, get your little piece of paper and pencil or whatever recorder out. I'm not going to record this stuff because it's not my business. I encourage other people to record from their end.
Mm-hmm.
When I call you up, I'm going to say, "Hey, how you doing? Are you ready for this?" Because it's often very hard for me to keep my mouth shut until the story
Oh my
starts
God.
pouring out.
Uh-huh.
So I try to, hedge my bets, give you time to get your pencil sharpened and make sure you got paper and batteries or whatever else you're ready for it. Some people, we got that last minute thing. So
Yeah.
when the, when the person is ready, I tell them the story that I see for them. I have gained an insight into them because I'm not looking at their issue and them through my ego, through my judgment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at them and their issue through the eyes of Great Maker. So I address the issue. Great Maker, God, whoever your highest deity is, I consider them roughly like parents,
Oh wow.
mama and daddy, or mom and daddy is all one person. Anyway, there's a mom and a dad and a family, and we're the
Mm-hmm.
kids. They want their kids to prosper. They want their kids to grow and be healthy,
Yeah.
to enjoy the bounty that we're being offered, to smell the flowers, to feel the spray of the sea. We're here to develop experiences, all of us, even me. This is weird, but this is I am experienced. Me and Jimi Hendrix are going to have a long talk about that one day. Because
Well,
I speak through the experience of spirit
mm-hmm.
rather than myself. In that way, the person I'm talking with and me, we share the same experiences. So I see them as my cousin,
Yeah.
another image of myself, another vision of God's expectations, hopes, dreams. So I nurture by nurturing the discomfort in the person I'm talking to. I'm also nurturing myself and
Mm-hmm.
you and all the other people that have no clue what I'm up to
I love it.
by introducing a little bit of self esteem
Yeah.
into a person's life,
Mm-hmm.
helping them find the answer instead of me just telling it, feeling the empowerment that person grows
Mm-hmm.
as I sit talking with them.
Yep.
I just dig that. I dig the stuff out of that.
Mm-hmm.
That's my good, yeah. That's my take.
Wow.
Happy people, people that are comfortable in their abilities, that they have abilities, that they've
Mm-hmm.
got abilities they haven't discovered yet. When people know that and can figure out ways to be more trusting of themselves and their choices, they get
Mm-hmm.
happy. The world is happy. I'm happy.
Yeah.
Ta-da, I win. And I win tickets.
You are awesome. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Just remind us again of your contact information, how we can reach you.
My mom picked this out. My name is spelled Janis.
Mm-hmm.
My mom always told me I am is. There's nothing nice about me. So my I couldn't get an email name to click. And finally she suggested, well, you're a goddess. So goddess Janis at hotmail.com. Thanks,
Ooh,
Mom.
and the hot. Got
And
it.
it's just like, yeah, where else would you find a goddess but at
Now wait,
Hotmail?
is mom
Uh,
with us?
Mom's no longer with us.
But you
Well,
still
she's with
communicate
me,
with
but
her on the other side. No, I'm just curious.
yeah,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I my
I've
mom
been really,
too.
I've been very lucky. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I've been really lucky. She had one color that she hated, the color pink. I mean, she would, for reasons of her own, I'm
Mm-hmm.
aware of them, but for reasons of her own, she didn't like that color. So if anybody brought her flowers and they were pink flowers, when as soon as they left, they'd go in the trash can.
Oh,
She hated
wow.
pink, really with a vengeance.
Okay.
So the last two times she's come to visit me, she's been wearing bright pink.
Wow.
She wants to make sure I notice. But it's been fun. I've been seeing the ladies in my family, my ancestors lately, and it's been soothing for me. We're all shifting in a way that everything on the planet is in flux, including the
Mm-hmm.
planet. Today, I've found that they've discovered a new way to create energy that's clean. It's brand new on the ticket board today. Y'all look it up. It's a new
I
way
didn't
of
even hear that on
reaction
the
of
news
energy.
yet. Okay, wow.
I mean, today it's hot off the presses. Everything is in flux. So when things are in flux, we can learn things. New ideas are floating around for somebody to grasp.
Well, with the pandemic, did you
I'm
feel that coming on? I mean, talk about flux, right?
right, right. I had told a friend of mine, gosh, it hadn't hit this country yet, and I ran into somebody in the Walmart store. That's our local store,
Love it.
and started telling me you better stock up because things are fixing to shut your door down, and the door shut a few months later. But yeah, I saw that one coming. Hated it, but we have to do it. We
Mm-hmm.
had to disengage from all this conversation with strangers so that we could remember who we are.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what opinion I have of other people if I don't know who I am. So hopefully with my stories, I help people reconnect with really who they are. You wouldn't believe some of the wonderful people on this planet that think their life is sucks, but instead they're having a moment to see it differently,
Mm-hmm.
to have a growth spurt.
Yeah.
So
And that's
that's what I'm up to.
amazing.
As a hey yoga, I'm a talk. I represent the Great Spirit, and as a storyteller, I try to dodge.
Got it. Wow, this is amazing. So we could reach out to you. Again, you gave us specifics before. Let's repeat that. We're going to email you, call you, give you 3 dates, times, options closest to noon Eastern Standard Time, and then Spirit's going to pick the time. And it's about an hour-long conversation. You do Zooms, you do over the phone. What do you prefer?
I really prefer doing it over the phone. I'm going to have to learn how to do the Zoom thing.
Well, you did it
But
today.
when I did, but when I read for someone, I'm all over the map because I'm,
Yeah,
I can't, I'm not looking at them, so they're distracting.
true.
But
Okay.
you know, as I say, things are in flux. I may have to flux a little too.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
So
Well,
currently, email me at Goddess Janis,
mhm.
GoddessJanis at hotmail.com. And we'll set up a way to talk with each other. I'll
Fantastic.
tell you
This is
stories.
exciting. And to leave off, did you want to leave us with any words of wisdom, any advice, anything you're feeling for today? And the holidays are here, family, friends, people listening. Any message that's coming through?
Yeah. Yes, yes. And I'm so glad you mentioned holidays because I've been trying to figure out what in the world is this supposed to, I can't be, what? Anyway, you've given me a relatable point now. I get this information, it comes in, and then I don't know what it's for. So this is the deal. 'Tis the season to be jolly. Somebody made that line up. because he wasn't allowed to smack anybody at the table either.
Mm-hmm.
And so he came up with this line that, try to make it through dinner on holidays. There's a lot of stress of getting it right when we get back in with people who knew the old us.
Mm-hmm.
We change, we grow every year. And if we don't see anybody for a year or two or more, they still remember us as who we were then. They don't know who we are now.
Yeah.
Unless we tell them, they don't know. And they won't listen to us tell them unless we have first asked them.
Yeah.
It really is the time of golden rule.
Mm-hmm.
People are in flux.
Wow.
This is not the time to hold somebody down to the wire. They're in flux.
Yeah.
It's the season of flux, of dreams, of introspection, of
Mm-hmm.
looking in on ourselves and our dreams to see how we treat ourselves. We spend so much of our year treating others. The dark time of the year comes, the cold time, so that we might sit quiet,
Yeah.
just ourselves and our spirit, and connect with our dreams and our musings, so that we might know our own story firsthand from the maker.
Beautiful.
Those with problems getting a connection can call me.
Yeah. Well, thank you so
I'll
much.
translate for you.
And one more time, give us
Well,
that phone number if you can.
man, I open up a phone number. Oh boy, my husband will have a fit. Email me.
Email again.
Send me,
Goddess.
email me the goddess Janis at hotmail.com. You see, my husband is also going through changes.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them are unexpected. And the timing is going to suck just about as bad for me as it will for anybody else.
Yep.
So I am adjusting the way I do business to accommodate the person that I love. As I adjust my business to accommodate the person I'm going to talk to with love.
Perfect.
But for the time being, the most gentle and surefire way to get me is to just send me an email.
Okay.
Send it to the goddess Janis.
Perfect. Well, thank you
Goddess
so
Janis.
much for being here, for joining us, and pleasure we got to speak. And I'm glad I had some extra time here so we could do the full show, because I know we had some complications getting on, but really pleasure getting to know you. And go ahead.
Thanks for letting me talk about it. I appreciate your patience. I live between two granite mountain peaks. I don't have access to practice with this very often. So I appreciate you spending your time with me.
Same here, and looking forward to the next time we speak. Thank you so much, Janis. We appreciate it. You have a fantastic day. And to all of our listeners, wherever you are, reach out. Don't forget, contact her and book that session with her. Very reasonable rate, and the work she could do, amazing. Can't wait to talk more with you next week. I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you so much.
Oh, you too. Happy Merry, everybody.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes. and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.